were acting as a predator trying to take the innocence away from various different women who you were related to or not. Now,
unveil her deepest secrets, subdue her, and make all women yours. What the fuck? Look at this man. Look at him. And you try to tell me that this should be allowed on Steam? The most disturbing game ever sold on Steam.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So incoming yap session about a crazy ass game that was recently uploaded to Steam called No Mercy. And basically in this game, it was
No Mercy. So clearly the premise of the game is probably, you know, if I had to assume, showing no mercy, you know, to your opponents, maybe in fist fights, a fight to the death, something of that nature.
a role-playing game where you were playing as a protagonist who was basically stalking women, including mothers and daughters and people in your family in the game, with the ultimate goal and sole purpose, grape them. Yes, you heard that right. This was a
What? What is this Joe Goldberg ass game?
role-playing grape game of which you were acting as a predator trying to take the innocence away from various different women who you were related to or not. Now,
Yo, this had to be made by the same people who made the anime redo of Healer, bro. Facts.
first came across this story. It was from a member in my Discord server by the name of Rebecca. She said, trigger warning. She
Yeah,
said,
heavy.
there's a game on Steam called No Mercy. The player, Grape, or Gang Grape, women of his family. The more
Of
women
his
the
own
player
family? I mean, obviously it's already bad, but when it get, bro, when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it does.
grapes, the more points they get. Even 12-year-olds can access the game because it was literally on Steam for $14.99. However,
And you have this game on Steam for $14.99. This generation is doomed, bro. You get points for more people that you can.
at the time of this recording, unfortunately, I can't show you the original Steam page as it was
It's
taken down.
banned,
However,
yeah.
I may be able to do something. So unfortunately, that did not work. I actually tried to use the Wayback Machine to find the original Steam page, but that did not work, unfortunately. Sorry, but as reported by this user by the name of Tommy, they say in No Mercy, you are encouraged to grape your sister,
your mother, and her friends.
This game
Oh
is
my
available
God.
to buy on Steam, a platform that a lot of other students will be accessing. This normalization of abuse needs to stop. And as you can see here is an image of the game's logo.
This is the logo of the game. Game devs, game developers. Whoever had this idea in the first place, bro, you're sick in the head. Then you wrote the idea out. You gave it to a game developer. The game developer was like, this doesn't sound like a red flag. They got it developed by, I don't know, the staff, the animators, the graphic designers. They decided, no red flags. This is not a problem. And then they gave it to Steam. And the people at Steam were like, no problem. How did this bypass so many different levels of security? What are we allowing on these platforms in this day and age?
Logo along with a girl with a hand
No mercy.
ripping the fuck out of her scalp. And here as you can see the disclaimer from the developers saying this game graphically contains sex and violence, mature language, nudity graphic, depictions of oral, vaginal, and other sexual activities. This content includes incest, blackmail, unavoidable, non-consensual. They say unavoidable,
Everything.
non-consensual sex. You mean rape? Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
As well as the use of drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. So basically, this is a grapist, predator, stalking, wet dream role-playing game for guys or girls out there who get off on this type of shit. They also say there is avoidable NTR, Netto Rare, whatever
What is that?
means, content in the prologue, which serves as an introduction to the story and is entirely skippable. All consensual sexual situations are depicted as occurring between consenting adults. This gaming
No, it is not. What do you mean? It's called No Mercy, and you just said
adult themes and is
non-consensual.
intended for adults 18 years and older, but we all already know anybody below the age of 18 can purchase it because Steam doesn't really have a system where they verify IDs to make sure kids aren't buying certain games. Obviously, all you need is a credit card, debit card, bank account, whatever. PayPal
just
account,
get your mom's
and you're good to
information,
go.
you
They
know?
also say the characters, story, and events are works of fiction and bear no ties to reality. Now, here's my thoughts.
That's not
on
how this stuff works. First of all, okay, you could say that it bears no ties to reality, but let's face it, bro. When you glorify something in a game, for example, like gun use, gun violence, people don't take it nearly as seriously. So not only are you normalizing this behavior through this game, you are creating a hub of people who likes to do these activities, and then who knows, bro, they might find a Discord group and be like, let's take matters into our own hands and start doing this outside. You know, you never know. They might start, taking that same behavior and using it with the women they interact with, God forbid.
Should have never been on Steam. This is a crazy type of game to have on a platform which is accessible to everybody. I know people are going to use the argument.
No Mercy is a 3D choice-driven adult visual novel with a huge focus on and male domination. After your mother's affair shatters your family, you take on a new role. Not to fix what's broken, but to claim her for yourself. Unveil her deepest secrets, subdue her, and make all women yours. And they thought, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's put this on the platform, bro. The men, the women, probably men, need this game, bro. Streets need this game, bro.
Well, there are shooters out there in games where people are literally shooting each other and brains splattering against walls and you're killing people and murdering them and causing genocide digitally, which is a fair point. That is a devil's advocate point. But obviously in most of those games, that's just a byproduct of the storyline itself. It's not like the sole focus. Unless like you're in a first-person shooter where that generally is the case, but obviously people don't take killing each other in video games super seriously. Like, we're kind of used to it, you know, story-driven, taken from the POV of the protagonist of who you're playing as.
I definitely do see the point of the people who say that, because I was thinking that too. Like, there are plenty of games that have really bad, I don't know. Some could make the case that I guess killing people is technically worse than this because you're ending people's lives. I wouldn't say that though, just because the killing is not justifiable, but there's more of a justifiable reason to do so. I definitely think it's weird how like all these war games are taking place in these different countries, like in the Middle East, and they're like trying to relive or reenact real situations and killing real people who look like this type of people. But then nobody's really gonna care, let's be honest. Nobody cares.
To sole focus is to people. I mean, am I off on that? Like, I'm pretty sure if there was a game out there where the sole focus of the protagonist of which you're playing as was to go out there and bomb people in the Middle East, and I don't know, you were like a rogue terrorist just killing innocent people, a lot of people would have a problem with that too. But again, we gotta understand.
I feel like they wouldn't, bro. I think honestly, because it's the Middle East, nobody would really care that much, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe they would get a little bit of backlash, but there are so many games that are set in Iraq, and yeah, bro.
Understand
nobody
human
cares.
Emotions, certain things are just off limits. We prescribe certain moral prescriptions to certain events that hold more weight than other types of things, and these are just one of these games that should be off limits. Now if you're into this type of shit, again, you do you, as long as you're not committing any real crimes in the real world. Just Steam should have never approved this type of game to be accessible on their platform to everybody, including kids. That's dumb. This is the type of game that should be left on specific adult websites that cater to these types of kinks or fetishes for people who want to play these types of games.
This shit should be on the bottom of the barrel in the black market. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. You should not be able to access this as a regular guy. You should have to have like some black ID card that says black market only or something. You type that in, put it into your PC, and then you can load this game up, bro. Not everybody should be able to have access to this game. Not everybody should even know what this game is. If this is something you're into, bro, holy.
You have verifiable IDs to check the player's ages. But alas, Steam fucked up. And at the time of this recording, the game has now been removed with over 70,000 signatures on change.org. They say at Steam, remove no mercy, plus incest game globally.
Yeah, this is a crazy game, but I'm not gonna lie, the other games, you could also say that, oh, any 18 plus game, Steam should, you know, make you do extra stuff to be able to get that game, because there are also like a lot of suggestive or like weird content in other games that are not being, you know, targeted.
And as expected, a lot of spurred out autists on 4chan, per usual, have a problem.
People are defending this game.
Some people are saying Grape is absolutely useful. Boomers use the threat of jail, forced confinement, and threat of Grape to keep people in line. And as a Canadian, understand if I use violence to defend myself and can't afford a good lawyer, I will be held in custody until trial and made to be a victim by the staff who will charge me with defending myself to increase my stay in because I acted up. He's basically trying.
This is why we cannot have games like this that are accessible to the public on Steam, let alone people who are minors. Because dudes on Reddit, dudes on 4chan, Google forums, I don't know, trying to say that Grape is justifiable and it's useful.
Trying to defend rape, like, bro, what is wrong with you? Somebody else said, in a trad patriarchal society, Grape should be the only just way to acquire children. Grape is based. Like, I'm telling you, I wish you people could see my face right now. These people should be eunuch, or better yet, balls chopped off.
Yeah.
These people with these thoughts.
No, these people genuinely got to get neutered and castrated or whatever the hell they call it.
Locked away or just excommunicated from civilization.
Hell yeah.
In its entirety forever, because
get them out
there's
of
no
here.
way you have people out here on 4chan saying, how did the feminist movement convince everyone that rape is worse than murder? Now, here's the thing. My point is, that is the devil's advocate's argument. I understand.
Yeah.
Listen, objectively, murdering an innocent individual, stripping their life away from them and all the potential that they could live out for the rest of their life is the worst possible thing you can do on this planet. It's the #1 sin. Obviously, second and third and fourth is causing horrendous bodily harm to.
I think it depends on what your intentions are, as crazy as that sounds, like, of course, but there is not a single justification for, you know, unconsensually taking somebody's innocence per se.
To people unconsensually via Grape or predatory behaviors like assaulting them. And
either way, those are definitely like the top two, it feels like, of worst things that you can do. For the people who are trying to play devil's advocate, trying to say, oh yeah, well, murder is worse than, like, why do we, let's just say we should crack down on both of these problems, or look at both these problems with, you know, a bigger lens. Let's not just be, you know, say, oh, well, yeah, You don't let me grape women in the game. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We can try to like crack down on the issues of both. Do I think people will though? I probably don't think so.
For the rest of their lives, because they're gonna have to be alive to carry that physical or mental trauma.
Killing, murder, death has been a part of so many games for so long that there's no way it gets changed.
But again, my argument is the average person playing a Call of Duty game, shooting other players in the face and then respawning on the other side of the map is not a psychopath, terrorist, sadistic motherfucker who gets off on killing people in real life. The probability of that is very low.
Why is that?
I'm pretty sure people who go out of their way to willingly play these games and would spend their hard-earned cash to play such a game, unironically, is likely, in comparison to the former person playing Call of Duty, to have way more serious character defects.
I think, yeah, probably, just because this is not normalized. But also, there's no way to really prove that statistic to be true if we're being completely honest. But I do think, yes, like people who play these type of games are crazy as shit, bro.
Just saying, the probability of a Call of Duty person who grew up on Call of Duty being out here actively committing mass shootings versus somebody who goes out of their way to play this game and actually enjoys it, going into the real world and stalking women and actually committing atrocious acts against them, is way lower for the person who plays Call of Duty and much, much higher for the person who probably enjoys
What's making you say that?
I'm not saying all players who would have downloaded this and played the game and enjoyed it would actually commit those acts in real life. I'm just saying the probability is much higher. I hope I'm kind of explaining my rationale for why people have a problem with this. And also
so I think, okay, I actually probably believe that, but I wish he would have told me why he thinks that's the case. The reason why I think that's the case is just because women face much more like abuse on a day-to-day basis versus mass shootings. Like, they don't take place actually they probably do take place once every single day, but more than one woman is getting abused every single day. There's more likely, you know, for this to happen. There's more likely for this to take place, and people who play these games are more likely to contribute to the statistics. Also, the fact that it's on Steam, it's being introduced to youth, and youth, they don't really know what it's like to talk to women really like that at all. And then they're like, oh, this is how it is. Okay, this is what we gotta do. And then they go up to a girl and then they try to, you know, pull up these methods and think that this is, you know, top #1 Riz tips.
Because it's accessible to children. And I mean, for fuck's sake, literally, here is one of the screenshots from the game. You have a girl, digital girl with makeup running down her face, crying, presumably, with a creepy ass dude. And
what the fuck? Look at this man. Look at him. And you try to tell me that this should be allowed on Steam?
A dozen unconsensual atrocities against her body. Like, genuinely speaking, who would actually want to play a game like this, bro, and not seem sus? Again, another screenshot from the, like, bro, I mean, good God. Here we have another screenshot from the game, right? We got another guy on a couch gripping the hell out of this young lady's head from the game.
This dude look like Christian Braun from Denver Nuggets, if y'all know.
Right, we got another guy on a couch gripping the hell out of this young lady's head. Well, she's a digital character, but still, the depiction of it. You know, as a description for the game, the developers, they say that there are multiple endings. Players' choices shape the story's direction.
So if you don't really want to, you don't have to touch them unconsensually. You can, you know, be the good guy and, you know, leave them alone. This is just crazy.
Offering different endings based on moral and emotional decisions. So it's kind of like one of those story-based games where your actions and your dialogue
directly
with the
affect the outcome.
Game
correct.
Shape the outcome you get.
Correct.
Kind of like a Silent Hill type game, or Life is Strange, Detroit Become Human, a Walking Dead type game. You know, story-driven games that are based on your choices that will determine the outcome of the type of ending you get. But in this case, it's about Grape. They also say deep characters. Each character has their own personality, motivations, and story arc, especially key figures like the protagonist's stepmother.
One that you can choose to, you know, take their innocence of.
Obviously, interactive dialogues, player choices during conversations determine how characters react and how the plot unfolds. Replayability, the branching paths, and multiple outcomes encourage players to replay and discover new storylines. And by the way, because I wanted to, before actually ending this video, I wanted to show you guys, you know, footage from the actual game. They're going to be screenshots here because I believe they couldn't actually show actual video from the game itself, but here we go. So taking a look, we have, you know, this guy standing
on the wall.
Of, I don't know, office building, maybe a school or something.
He's university.
And, you know, here are the character models. This guy says, "Stop lying, your mom's rich. Give me," so you get to choose the type of dialogue you want to move forward with.
Okay.
We have this character, random character. You can see the character model, the shading, and everything. A lot of people are saying this game looks dog shit. I mean, it kind of does, but again, you know, there's a lot of dog shit games out here.
True.
Let's be honest. Here we have a scene with one of the main characters in this black dress. Again, I mean, looking at it now, the game does look like one of those standard porn, those banner ads on the side of the fucking website.
Yeah.
Like, guys, we all know what I'm talking about here. Let's be honest. We're not innocent. And by the way, correction, apparently this is actually the game. It's like a photo-based game, right? So this is actual gameplay, bro. There's no animation.
So there's no video?
I guess
What the-
3D rendered images from Blender.
What is this game? Okay, this game sucks.
Images for the game, right? For this whole, you know, Grape fantasy stuff.
This game shouldn't even be on Steam for the basis that it's a trash, okay?
And with that clarification made from this commenter, I'm gonna be honest, this game does look like dog shit if
Yeah,
this is
it
really
does,
how the
100%.
game is. Literally somebody in the comment section saying it looks like a bad corn game.
That's literally what it is.
It really does, bro. Literally one of those advertised banner games on the side.
Is it
of
not,
BF, like,
though?
we all know what I'm talking about, man. Somebody in the comments said, controversy aside, this game looks like complete dog shit. It really does. So with that said, guys, I just want to say, listen, man, I'd
rather play Genshin Impact, bro.
Accessing this type of game, bro. Clearly,
Yeah, I don't
this
like Genshin
type of
Impact.
shit would spur up some type of character defects in my child that I just don't want festering in his mind or her mind. Honestly, a lot of people have result under many X-rated content websites. So it is a fairly common thing amongst human beings on both sides. Like, that's like, I suppose, one of the #1 kinks for women. Like, guys and
Is
girls
what?
have different kinks that they get off on, and
Right?
it's not symmetrical, you know. Like, men get off on other things and women get off on other things.
Yeah, some of
in
y'all like
general.
toes.
So obviously this specific platform or media may cater to specific demographics of people. It's not the majority, but you know, in general, such is the case. All in all, though, regardless of my opinion or what you may think, this should not be accessible on Steam. That's just
For sure.
ridiculous in my opinion. It's kind of retarded. But do let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think about this game and the controversy and now it being taken down? Because obviously it's a great fantasy type game,
Right.
and hey, people are touchy about that stuff.
For sure.
Even if other people out there are okay with it, you know, feel free to air off all your opinions and thoughts down below. And yeah, until next time, everybody, stay safe out there.
Well, that was the most disturbing game ever sold on Steam. What are our final thoughts on the video? Okay, so #1, I feel like the easy thing to say is obviously this game should be banned, right? Should not be allowed. These type of stuff should not be, you know, accessible for people who are 14, especially not damn 14, bro. But for the people who are bringing up other games or other violence and drug use or whatever the hell, like stuff that perhaps goes on in games like GTA that everybody loves, or in the Call of Duty where they're going and bombing Afghanistan and stuff, that is definitely a point worth mentioning and something worth talking about. But to me, I feel like we don't have to look at something and be like, oh, if this is okay, then this should be okay. When if anything, we should say no mercy is bad. And also this bombing, killing, whatever violence is also not that good, and it might be something that we should talk about as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, join my Discord link in the description. With that being said, it's Love It Law. I love you, and I'm out.